Hi and welcome to the AV Forum's review of OnLive. OnLive launched in the UK at the Eurogamer Expo. Staff had apparently been shipped over from the US to charm people in that inimitable American way.
So OnLive is on-demand gaming. Play your games on your devices wherever you are. You give us 3 megabits, we'll set you up.
And there was plenty of opportunity for would-be customers to try out the service. All of this underlined the importance the company have placed on their first launch beyond the American continent, and their desire to become a dominant force in the gaming market. For those of you who aren't aware, OnLive is a cloud gaming service. In other words, rather than running a game from your computer or console, all of the data is stored and rendered on a server, and streamed back to you via your broadband connection. A 2 megabit per second connection is the minimum required, but 5 megabits per second is recommended. One of the key selling points of the service is that you can play high-end games on hardware that would be incapable of running them locally. The free-to-download client is currently available for Macs and PCs, with tablet versions due for release in the not-too-distant future. Alternatively, you can access the service through this, the OnLive micro console, which is sold at £69.99. In the box you'll find a console, a gamepad, a power adapter, an HDMI lead, an Ethernet cable, a rechargeable battery pack with accompanying USB lead, and a couple of Duracell batteries. The micro console is impressively small. In fact, it's more or less pocket-sized. The ports are all found at the back, excluding 2 front-facing USB slots, which can be used to connect and charge the bundled controller and also support a wide range of keyboards, mice and gamepads, including the Xbox 360 wired controller. The bundled pad is similar to the 360's, although the analog sticks are in line, and the additional buttons are also included to allow for quick recording of in-game footage. Overall, we've got no complaints about the build quality or comfort, but its Microsoft counterpart is still preferable. Whether you're using the micro console or one of the downloadable clients, the user interface is exactly the same. It's here that the OnLive experience really excels. Initial setup involves little more than creating an account, and once you're in, you'll be treated to a slick intro sequence and a clean and intuitive menu system. In accordance with the unwritten law of the 21st century, OnLive integrates a number of social features. The most interesting is the arena, which allows you to watch other people play, or, more often, have a laugh at their expense as they struggle their way through simple sections of games you've already played. Brag clips can be recorded at any point during gameplay and can be shared for anyone to view. The top rated clips at present tend to be glitches, amusing gameplay moments, and some extremely impressive drawings on Duke Nukem Forever's whiteboard. Currently, OnLive boasts around 150 games, including a good range of AAA titles including Human Revolution, Bioshock, Batman Arkham Asylum, Dirt 3 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Free demos are available for most titles, and the implementation is quite different to what we're used to. Instead of getting a specific level, you get half an hour to test drive a game as you see fit. The pricing model is fairly flexible. Individual games sell at reasonable prices, but in addition you can rent access to most games for 3 or 5 days for around £4 and £6 respectively. But these prices vary depending on the game, and some titles can't be rented at all. Finally, it's possible to buy the Playback bundle, which gives you access to over 100 of the games for £6.99 per month. Naturally, the most important question is whether the system's performance is up to scratch. We tested it over a few days on both a super speedy 30 megabit connection and on the recommended 5 megabit connection. For all intents and purposes, there was no difference. Logging on launch night took an average of 4 minutes or so, but since then logging on has been much quicker. Once on, we found games ran surprisingly well. To someone who didn't know, it would appear you were playing local versions of the games. However, for anyone with a keener eye, the frame rate is noticeably variable, meaning that on occasion the gameplay isn't quite as smooth as on a console or PC. Fans of first-person shooters will suffer a little more than most here. Graphical detail certainly isn't maxed out, so don't expect the visuals to match up to those of a high-end PC. But it's important to stress, as you can see, that the games are perfectly playable no matter what hardware you're playing on. It's hard not to be impressed by what OnLive has accomplished, but that's not to say that there aren't still legitimate concerns. A persistent good quality internet connection is required, and heavy users will have to ensure that they're not exceeding their ISP's usage limitations. These factors will no doubt exclude a number of people from using the service. There's also the fact that you never truly own a game. Human Revolution is currently sold for around £35, but if for some reason the service collapses or OnLive stops supporting the game, you won't be able to play it. Purchase, in this case, doesn't mean true ownership. Think of it more like unlimited access. For those reasons, it's not possible at this stage to advocate cloud gaming as a true alternative to playing locally. But that's not to say OnLive isn't a fascinating and impressive service. The truth is, we came into this review skeptical about what OnLive would offer, but in terms of performance, UI and the social features, it has delivered well beyond expectations. We'd go as far as to say that most of the time, on a decent connection, you wouldn't know you were simply streaming data. Is cloud gaming the future? Maybe, maybe not. What's certain is that given the client and the demos are free, there's no reason not to try it out for yourself. From all of us here at AV Forums, thanks for watching.